Yo, what's up? I'm back. Hope everyone's well. Alright, so hope everyone's well. Have a drink. So basically, I'm looking at this thing called artificial photosynthesis. So, artificial photosynthesis mimics natural photosynthesis using sunlight, water, and catalysts like semiconductors to create clean energy, primarily producing hydrogen or carbon-based fuels and oxygen. It seeks to surpass natural efficiency by converting CO2 and sunlight directly into usable fuel, e.g. methane, ethanol, or even food, offering a carbon-neutral alternative for sustainable energy and potential space applications. So, mechanism uses semiconductors coated with catalysts to absorb sunlight and split water into hydrogen and oxygen, or reduce carbon dioxide into fuel. Benefits offers a way to generate clean solar fuels like hydrogen, reduce atmospheric CO2, and create food acetate in darkness. Efficiency. Recent systems can be 10 times more efficient than previous designs. Some systems can produce fuel continuously for over 100 hours. So basically, I was looking at whether it could be some like food source, some basically like. So hello Vicky, how you doing? I hope you're well. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the live if you haven't already. Yes, artificial photosynthesis can be used as a food source, functioning as a food factory that operates independently of sunlight. Researchers have developed a hybrid system, an inorganic electrocatalytic system that converts carbon dioxide, water, and electricity into acetate, a key ingredient in vinegar, which acts as a carbon and energy source for food producing organisms. So, what are you talking about? Hello, Crimson. Hello, Cologne Man. I don't use any of like that sort of stuff. Scientists use solar panels or other renewable electricity sources to power an electrolyzer. This device splits water and converts CO2 into acetate, a stable 2-carbon substrate, feeding the organisms. Unlike plants, which require sunlight to convert CO2 into sugar, natural photosynthesis, the system feeds the produced acetate directly to organisms in the dark. So I'm like, how would we be fed this? Hope you're all well. No, I'm not a police officer. Or really Crimson. So so it talks about doesn't mean giving humans green leafy skin to eat sunlight directly. Instead, it refers to hybrid inorganic biological systems that use artificial photosynthesis to create food for humans without sunlight. So yeah. So I was wondering if it's possible to get some like, yeah. Well, How you doing, Heaven? I hope you're well. Because I was thinking if hypothetically it was possible for us to be able to photosynthesize in some way, that that would be able to bypass the digestive system and therefore arguably there'd be less stress on the system and a cleaner energy that doesn't have to go through all these processes. But then there could be arguments for, like having, say, like, actual food and stuff, and like things such as dietary fiber and stuff like that. So, hello, Alpha. How you doing? Why are you feeling creeped out? Hope you're all well tonight. If you're new here, hit that like button, subscribe. It's highly unlikely that humans will ever biologically convert sunlight directly into dietary energy, but humans already successfully harness solar energy directly for electricity and fuel biotechnology, while human skin lacks the necessary machinery for photosynthesis. Artificial photosynthesis and photovoltaics can efficiently convert sunlight into. So, like, basically, what this would be going into like the realms of transhumanism and stuff, but talking about creating prototypes of electronic skin for bionic limbs that harness energy directly from the sun, eliminating the need for traditional heavy batteries. What's this? Graphene-based skin. Engineers at the University of Glasgow have developed a flexible electronic skin using graphene, a material that is stronger than steel, highly conductive, and 98% transparent, allowing it to collect solar energy efficiently. So the synthetic skin uses photovoltaic cells to convert sunlight into electricity. It requires only 20 nanowatts of power per square centimeter, allowing the skin to power sensors that provide artificial limbs with a sense of touch, temperature, and texture. Energy and autonomy. The generated power can exceed what is needed for the sensors. Researchers are currently working on diverting the surplus energy to power the motors that drive the prosthetic hand, with the goal of creating completely energy autonomous limbs. 3D printed solutions. Other initiatives such as Cure Bionics are developing 3D printed bionic arms that use solar energy for wireless charging, aiming to make them more accessible and lightweight. So this is a theory. Sounds a bit kind of crazy. That what if at some point we get to the point where most of our body becomes kind of like replaced by bionic limbs and shit. I remember someone was talking about bionic limbs, like whether at some point we would do that. But the theory is, right, this is a bit kind of wild, that this would basically, like, I don't know, it's a wild thought, but like, as in, this is getting into like transhumanism and stuff, that what if then there's less need for, like physical food, basically, because if we can like run some of the functions of the body, maybe even like at some point, like have a completely like artificial heart, because some people have like artificial hearts that help to pump blood around. So at some point, are we going to have a more efficient version of that? Now, the only thing is we can't do anything about the brain, and there's certain limitations to the body and stuff, but you could argue that any energy that isn't spent on parts of the body that could actually be used to, I don't know, it's just, some people may not like the idea, because I would be thinking, fuck that, I'm not going to have my limbs chopped off and replaced by bionic limbs or something. But But I'm just thinking, it's just more of a thought experiment, thinking like what could possibly happen if we, if somehow it was able to run off solar energy or something. Why mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell? Yeah, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. So like, yeah, that's what ATP is generated, which is the cellular current, like energetic currency, if you will. So like things like carbohydrates, fats, and stuff like that, they are converted into ATP to be used as energy. So basically, yeah, so like what I'm saying is that would it lessen the demands on the body? Like if you had limbs that were like solar powered or something, that is crazy to think about, isn't it? But I've had some wild theories before, so just thinking like hypothetically, like because then you could say, well, the blood then doesn't have to like then pump blood as hard, so maybe you could say it would, be less strain on the body and stuff if like you had some like bionic limbs that were able to run like on their own and kind of just a hypothetical scenario basically, and solar solar powered bionic limbs. Yeah. So basically, how solar energy are designed to enhance functionality, provide a sense of touch, and potentially reduce the energy burden on the user. While traditional prosthetics rely on heavy batteries that require frequent charging, these advanced limbs use solar cells to generate their own power, potentially reducing the overall weight and energy needs for operation. Well, that's more just the operation of itself. But I'm just wondering about like potential for reduced caloric needs, well, not directly reducing the basal metabolic rate of the human body itself. These devices can reduce the extra calories burned, but so I'm just thinking about like doesn't the prosthetic limbs not actually do that to reduce the, I don't know, it's all a bit of a hello, I'm doing fine, thank you. How you doing? Prosthetic versus biological cost. Historically, walking with a prosthetic limb requires more energy than walking with a biological one. Modern bionic designs aim to close this gap by recycling energy normally dissipated during gait to assist with push-off, which can reduce the extra metabolic penalty of an impairment from 23% to 14%. So what they're saying is that, like maybe it actually costs more energy with like bionic limbs and not less. So yeah, that's what it's saying basically, that yeah. So is it ever going to would they ever be able to like get to a point where basal metabolic rate becomes lower? So just as an idea. Yeah, so like autonomous Hello, Maru. Um, it says, well, biological humans generally require more energy to walk with current bionic limbs than with natural ones. Research suggests that autonomous bionic limbs could eventually lead to lower caloric requirements for certain movements. So basically, hmm, what's this? What are you talking about? Tough stuff. So I was just being a bit curious about this whole idea of, whether the body could ever get to a point where it almost needs no calories to get by, basically. And that's quite a far out kind of theory, but is it possible? I mean, I doubt it. Looking at this, it's probably a very tricky thing. But some might say, well, why would we want to do that? But my theory is that if we hypothetically could do that, then possibly humans could live a lot longer, because some say that one of the predictors of health and longevity is a relatively low, like, basal metabolic rate, like having a slower metabolism, some argue, is actually better for longevity. But then there's debate on that, because if it's too slow, then that means you're probably not exercising much, which exercise has been proven to benefit health. So AI prosthetics in the future allowing users to use thoughts for some movement. So what you're saying, like, as in that thoughts can, like, then lead to them being able to move instead of, like, actively having to, because I'm guessing because the body has to then actively move it that way. Yeah, it's but just hypothetically, would it ever lead to a lower basal metabolic rate? Because they found that in, like, species within a species, the ones that have generally, like, say, like, smaller animals in a certain species tend to live longer. Like, people with, like, long limbs, for example, may have a disadvantage in longevity, more extra weight on the body and stuff like that. Okay. Oh, thank you for that. Yeah. That'd be interesting about using thoughts to, like, generate movement, but it'd have to be like, that's where we're getting into, like, transhumanism. um, a hypothetical scenario that would stop humans requiring, like, external calories or something. Like, let's see what it says about this. So basically, like, direct photosynthesis human plant hybrid, talking about the challenge: a human lacks the surface area. Hello, I'm a human, how you doing? To generate sufficient energy at current plant efficiency. An active person would need approximately 1.2 acres of skin to meet their daily requirements. Hypothetical adaptation. To survive solely on sunlight, humans would likely need to become sedentary and tree-like, or spend nearly all their time in a comatose state to lower metabolic demand to nearly zero. Well, that sounds fun, doesn't it? What's this? Intravenous or automated nutrient delivery. Instead of eating, a person could receive a continuous, precise flow of liquid nutrients directly into the bloodstream or stomach. The mechanism, a sophisticated version of gastronomy tube or permanent IV line, could be managed by an AI that monitors real-time metabolic needs, delivering glucose, amino acids, and fats as they are consumed. The outcome, this would eliminate the act of eating and the sensation of hunger, though the body would still be consuming external calories just in a non-traditional form. So would that be a good idea? Intravenous fucking like food consumption. So you could argue that there could be benefits in terms of like less stress on the digestive system and things like that. That the digestive system would like, but you could argue that if we're not like chewing stuff, then our jaw can become weak, and that can, become more pronounced over time. They've found that like a lot of modern people have quite weak jaws now. We already use photosynthesis. We use sunlight to create vitamin D and all sorts of reactions. Red light enhances mitochondria, but it's not like producing energy at a cellular level, as far as I'm aware. I was talking about chlorophyll, but it's like in terms of like actually producing calories, it's either negligible or zero. It says that we would have to have chloroplasts in order to be able to do that. Hello, Weston. How you doing? Hope you're well. Yeah, so there's another one here, which is what's this? Non-biological energy harvesting. Future synthetic biology might allow human cells to use energy sources that do not exist in nature, such as direct electrical or thermal charging. So I was talking about like if we were somehow able to like use bionic limbs which would produce energy through electrical, I don't know, it's a bit of a weird one, but yeah. Nanotechnology. Hypothetical respiricides or nanobots could theoretically carry energy-dense synthetic fuels directly to cells, bypassing the digestive system entirely. Thermoelectric skin. Bionic skins could potentially harvest ambient heat or body heat to power internal synthetic batteries that supplement biological ATP production. It really does. It enhances on the cellular level, but sure, it's not essential, but it does enhance the machinery on subcellular level. Yeah. I've heard stuff about red light therapy, and it's supposed to be good. But I've heard chlorophyll's meant to be good as well. I was talking about nitric oxide and how they might actually synergize if you combine both together, because some are saying that nitric oxide might boost the effectiveness of chlorophyll supplementation if you have a lot of, let's say, dark green vegetables, for example. They also have a lot of nitrates in it. So if you have the nitrates and the chlorophyll, that you might actually prevent some of the chlorophyll degrading, because of the nitric oxide acts as an antioxidant, apparently, which prevents the degradation to some degree anyway. But so it says here, thermoelectric skin. Bionic skins could potentially harvest ambient heat or body heat to power internal synthetic batteries. That I've just read that one. So yeah, so bionic skins, that sounds really weird and like, yeah. So it's saying about like using body heat. So like basically is that recycling energy or something? I don't know, because the problem with like our body is that we are constantly losing energy. Like our bodies don't have a system to be able to recycle ATP, because it'd be cool if, say, like it could produce, when it produce, say for example, we break down ATP, but then the body doesn't have a way to like it doesn't have a way to like regenerate energy. So if we could find some way to do that, and it would, yeah. Anyway, so like let's see here, extreme metabolic suppression. So we took final scenario involves radically lowering the body's energy requirements, hibernation-like states. By suppressing core body temperature, the metabolic rate drops significantly. If humans could maintain a stable torpor state, their caloric needs might fall to just a few hundred calories per day, prolonging survival on stored fat for years instead of months. Hello, Walsh Family Vault. I'll tell you something, right? I saw something earlier. I was like, what the fuck is that? I saw something in the sky. It's a shame I didn't get anything on film, but it was like, I don't know what it was. It might have just been some like flock of birds. I don't know if they would even be around at this time. It was like going dark and stuff, so I couldn't see what it was. But I saw some dots in the sky, and I was like, what the fuck is that? I just noticed and I was like, that's weird. I don't know if it was just a flock or something. I don't know if even know like would they even be out at that time. I was like, that's a bit strange, but I don't know. It could be anything. Yeah. I was like, oh, I wish I could have caught it on camera or something, but it literally was only there for like a few seconds and then it just kind of faded out. So I don't know if it was just some like flock of birds or something. I don't know. Like do birds, do they fly at night as well? I was like, yeah, looking for migration, or if they're nocturnal species. It could have just been some like flock of some birds or something, but we just never really know. It's just hard to really kind of see sometimes. So basically, yeah. But what artificial leaves to create fuel from sunlight, water, and CO2, which more promising for solving energy crisis than making. I just read that one before. About yeah, some of there was this thing on intravenous, basically. Could IV food intake increase longevity or something? What sort of question is that? Basically, TPN, not a method. Basically, we've just seen. So I was just certain risks and stuff. In terms of like, so it's associated with liver disease apparently. So I'm just kind of like wondering about sort of in terms of like if we could somehow adapt to like less energy requirements. Anyway, so basically, talk about bionic skin again. Scientists suggest that regular exercise can rejig how calories are spent, redirecting energy away from background processes like chronic inflammation and toward active movement, essentially making the body run more efficiently. But then you could say, well, the exercising will temporarily increase your energy output. So companies like Gensaic are developing protein-based delivery systems to target specific tissues such as muscle and fat to help the body maintain muscle mass while requiring less overall energy for maintenance. The fuck is with these comments? Oh, God. Metabolic engineering research into cell factories and genome scale metabolic networks into identifying gene targets that could optimize how human cells produce and use energy. And then we've got biohacking, metabolic avatars, digital replicas of humans' metabolism, personalized metabolic avatars are being used to simulate and execute dietary interventions that have reduced daily calorie requirements by an average of 14% in some studies while maintaining weight. Hacking the gut microbiome with fermented foods and targeted supplements can improve nutrient absorption, allowing the body to function optimally on high quality, lower calorie fuel. Hello, let's see, go Leo. So basically, like exoskeletons, it says gait mechanics, 8 to 22% reduction in metabolic costs. And then we've got inflammation reduction, background energy redirects wasted calories to active use. Metabolic avatars, dietary timing / quality, minus 14% reduction in needed intake. So basically, like, yeah, because I remember there was this Brian Johnson guy talking about how he only eats just over like 2,000 calories a day, despite being quite active and stuff. So I don't know if like being active like does it sort of like yeah. Well, yeah, there is that vitamin D, so you can take supplements for winter, but there's other ways you can get it as well. Certain foods that have it in, but or cod liver oil. Oh yeah, opinion on opinions. I'm gonna be getting off here, guys, I think, but I gotta have some food and shit. So yeah. Okay, Manuel, Fatima. All right. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I will be back tomorrow. Okay. Take care, everyone. Bye.